Hey everybody, Vanny K here. I'm going to bring you a quick video. I've had a couple people ask me how to fit a safety to a CZ SP01. This is a D-style safety. I'll try to do this the best I can. I'm trying to be behind the camera, but you can see this doesn't quite fit right. See if I can get the light in there. So what you need to do, there's a couple things you need. A couple things I used. First is just a standard file. And what you're going to do is take this safety, and the top of it right here where I'm pointing to is flat. So you don't want to adjust the radius here. You just want to file off material off the top right here. The reason for that is when you file that, it actually gets a little bit shorter and it'll fit inside that D right there. So what I'm going to do is start filing on that and just take a little material off until it fits in there perfectly, and I'll show you what that looks like once I get to it. So just get it on my workbench here. Just going to file a little material off at a time. And all in all, if I'm not behind a camera and doing this, this really should take about 5 whole minutes to do. So I've got all the paint off of there now. You can see it's shiny. I'm going to check it. Make sure that I'm filing it evenly as well. It still doesn't fit, right? You can see, let me turn it right here. Sorry, you can see that it's not pushing all the way through there. You want a good fit there, so this is an ambidextrous safety. If you don't have a good fit, it's not going to fit your gun properly. So this is the first part of fitting. I'm also going to show you how to fit it to your sear so that it actually works properly. And just know that if you're buying these safeties used, they don't always work with all guns. You can see I'm getting pretty close there. It's starting to fit in there. And what I'm meaning is when you fit it for your sear, you're going to file this part right here. And same thing you're doing over here, just going to knock that down a little bit. And I'll show you, I'll actually put it in a gun and it won't work for that gun. I know it won't work because this is a brand new safety. It's a shadow flat safety. I have a problem with flipping safeties on when I'm shooting just because of my grip. So I use the super flat safeties with an overpowered spring so I don't accidentally flip the safety on. Don't need to use it when I'm shooting in competition. All right, there we go. You can see how quick that was. Perfect fit right there. Fits nice and flush right there. And if this was in a gun, how it would work, I can flip this side or this side. So that's good. So now what I'm going to do, break this apart. Still just slightly tight. I'm going to just clean this up and make sure it's real smooth with just a little bit of 1000 grit or 600 grit sandpaper. Just give it a nice little polish. I really like, there's a product called Kratex out there. They're little ceramic and rubber mixed buffing wheels, but they're super expensive. I've still got a couple of them. I like to polish my gun parts, and I'm actually going to start doing a series on this stuff just because I get a bunch of questions. On my bench here, I actually have one of these Kratex looks like a little bullet. And what it is, it's a mixture of ceramic and rubber. It's got a little hole in it. You can use like a screw tip, or they make a specific tip you can put in there. But I like to polish it with those too. But just for this, it doesn't need to be perfect. I'm going to go ahead and just buff it up here real quick. Check the fit again, and it fits in there nice and perfect. So that's it for that. Let me grab my gun and I will be back and I'll show you how to fit it to your gun. All right, now that we've got our D-ring safety fitted, what we need to do is take the sear and make sure that this fits. And what we want to do is right here, you can see this little leg right there. That mates up with this surface of your safety. Okay, so when this is flipped up, this little bar down here can't drop and it won't let the hammer drop. So what we need to do is put this all together and test it. Make sure that it fits together first of all, which it should because we fitted this together already. And then make sure that it'll stop once the hammer's cocked and won't let it fall. So what we're going to do, and you got to be careful because I don't know if you can see this or not, but right up in here, and I'll point to it, right back here on their frame rail, there's a little tension lever, a little indent. So what you need to do is take your right hand side of your safety, and what I like to do to hold the little, it's a detent, that's what it's called, to hold the detent in is take your sear, put it back in your frame, and you don't have to have it in there correctly or very tight or whatever. You just want to put a little tension against that detent that's over here. Flip your gun over, and you can see right here, sorry, this is hard to do from behind the camera. Right here, the little shiny bit, that's the detent. So you're going to take your right hand side safety lever, just pop it in your frame, and you rotate it around until it catches on that detent. Now that detent's not going to go anywhere. And you've got your right hand side of your safety in. Next thing you're going to do is try to position the sear. You're going to pull back on the hammer, grab the sear, and pushing down on the disconnector. And this is tricky, especially with trying to do this with the camera so you can see it. Usually I hold it up against my stomach and crank on it, but all right, so I've got it back, I've got it in there. You can see right here that the hole's lined up nice. I'm going to take my left hand side of my safety, start feeding it in there, give it a little twist, line it back up. I'm going to pop it back in like that. So it's not quite put in there right. What I need to do is make sure the right hand side and the left hand side are essentially in the same position so they'll snap together. Okay, so to do that, got to make sure the sear's in there. I got to get that in as far as I can, so I've got that smashed together now. Now I'm going to take my nail, and this little detent that's right here, it's the same as the other side, but this one's spring-loaded. So you got to have like a, let me flip this gun around. You got to have like a little cleaning pick or something, and I can't really show you. It's hard to show you. You can see it right there where the tip of that nail is. I'm going to push back on that towards the hammer, and I'm going to squeeze the safety this way to get them to snap together. Okay, so I've got to push that detent back. It doesn't take much force. I'm going to work the safety so I can squeeze it together, and there you saw it pop together. I'm going to make sure that safety's nice and tight, squeeze together, and make sure it goes up and down. Okay. The other thing you need to look for is right down in here. You can see this, the sear spring. There's a little leg right here, and it's hard to show on the camera. You'll see it in your gun though. And it's there's a little notch cut out of the safety bar that goes through that sits down, and that holds it all together. So once we've done this, we're going to check this for operation to make sure that when the hammer's cocked, the gun fires. And we're going to flip the safety up, make sure that flips up and down, and you can see the gun doesn't fire. Fires. Doesn't fire. Okay, so that's a properly fitted safety, and I'll show you what it looks like. If I can get enough light. So right here, this surface, that's the surface that you may need to adjust a little bit. And then here's your sear that's engaging it. When I pull the trigger, that sear leg doesn't move. Now when I drop the safety, the sear leg, you can see the sear leg move just slightly, and that's what allows it to fire. So if you do need to fit your safety, this gun didn't need it, but if you do need to fit your safety, right here on the surface of the safety, you just file the back edge of it. You don't want to mess with the whole contour of it, because you can take too much material off, and then your safety doesn't work. If you're using it in competition, you have to have a working safety whether you use it or not. I don't use a safety, but they always check that, especially at major matches. So I'm going to put this back together real quick. I'm just going to check the function with the slide on too. So it fires. If I cock it, put the safety on, it doesn't fire. So it's a properly installed safety. Now some people wonder about CZs. So if the hammer's dropped and I flip the safety up, why can I still do this, right? You don't want to do that. I'm just doing this to show you guys. That can mess up your sear. But it is possible that when your safety is up and your hammer is down, on some guns you can pull the trigger and it will still let it fire. The CZ style safeties are only meant to block the hammer when it's cocked, and you can see that that works properly. So hopefully this helped you out, guys. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see all those little parts in there, especially trying to do this with an iPhone and a couple of lights. But hit me up with comments, like, subscribe if you like it. I'll have some more videos on how to work on these CZ SP01s in the future. Thanks.